In the hallowed halls of the United States Senate, a momentous event unfolded, one that could potentially reshape the landscape of American law enforcement. Senator Dick Durbin, a seasoned statesman with an illustrious career spanning 4 decades, took center stage, armed with a meticulously compiled file that held the key to unraveling a web of alleged misconduct within the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. This hearing promised to be a pivotal moment, not just for the individuals involved, but for the very integrity of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. The weight of the accusations and the potential ramifications for the future of the FBI hung heavy in the air as Durbin prepared to present his case. Durbin's target was none other than FBI Director Kash Patel, a figure whose tenure had been marred by controversy and accusations of political bias. With unwavering resolve, Durbin launched a scathing indictment, presenting evidence that suggested a systematic dismantling and politicization of the Bureau under Patel's leadership. The accusations were not mere allegations. They were supported by data, documents, and even Patel's own words, painting a picture of an organization under siege from within. Durbin's presentation aimed to demonstrate a clear pattern of behavior that deviated sharply from the established norms and practices of the FBI. The gravity of Durbin's accusations was amplified by his extensive experience with previous FBI directors. As the senior member of the Judiciary Committee, he had witnessed firsthand the Bureau's evolution under various leaders. He contrasted his experiences with these predecessors with the unprecedented actions of Patel, highlighting the stark departure from established norms and practices. Durbin's long tenure provided him with a unique perspective, allowing him to draw a clear distinction between the apolitical, professional leadership he had observed in the past and the alleged partisan agenda he believed Patel was pursuing. Durbin addressed the Republican narrative that the Biden administration had weaponized the FBI, reminding the committee that President Biden had, in fact, retained Director Wray, a lifelong Republican and Trump appointee. This decision, Durbin argued, underscored Biden's commitment to maintaining the Bureau's independence and impartiality. By retaining a Republican appointee, Biden had signaled his intention to prioritize competence and experience over political affiliation, a decision that directly contradicted the claims of partisan bias. Durbin emphasized that Biden's actions spoke louder than any accusations. The nomination of Kash Patel, Durbin asserted, marked a turning point, ushering in an era of partisan agendas and political interference. He questioned Patel's motives and suggested that his appointment was driven by a desire to transform the FBI into a tool for political retribution. Durbin argued that Patel's background and public statements raised serious concerns about his ability to lead the FBI in an impartial and objective manner. The senator implied that Patel's appointment was a deliberate attempt to politicize the Bureau from the top down. To bolster his argument, Durbin quoted from Patel's own book, Government Gangsters, in which Patel described the FBI as an existential threat to the Republican form of government. These words, Durbin argued, revealed Patel's deep-seated animosity towards the Bureau and his determination to reshape it according to his own political ideology. Durbin highlighted the inherent conflict of interest in appointing someone who viewed the FBI as a threat to lead the very organization he so vehemently criticized. Patel's own words, Durbin suggested, were the most damning evidence against him. Durbin then presented a series of accusations, supported by meticulously gathered data and documents, illustrating how Patel allegedly launched a vengeful attack on the FBI. These accusations ranged from spreading misinformation to orchestrating purges of experienced personnel. The senator meticulously detailed each accusation, providing specific examples and supporting evidence to bolster his claims. Durbin's presentation was not based on speculation or hearsay. It was grounded in concrete data and documented events. Durbin accused Patel of spreading misinformation, including the false claim that the FBI orchestrated the January 6th Capitol riot. This accusation struck at the heart of Patel's credibility, suggesting that he was willing to distort the truth to advance his political agenda. Durbin argued that such misinformation not only undermined public trust in the FBI but also fueled dangerous conspiracy theories that threatened the stability of the nation. The senator emphasized the importance of truth and accuracy in law enforcement, particularly in matters of national security. Adding fuel to the fire, Durbin criticized Patel for producing a song sympathetic to the rioters who assaulted police officers at the Capitol. This action, Durbin argued, demonstrated a profound lack of respect for law enforcement and a willingness to align himself with those who sought to undermine the foundations of American democracy. Durbin highlighted the inherent contradiction in a law enforcement official supporting those who attacked law enforcement officers and attempted to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. The senator suggested that Patel's actions were deeply offensive to the men and women who serve and protect the nation. Durbin further alleged that Patel created an enemy list and labeled public officials, including former FBI Director Mueller, as government gangsters. These actions, Durbin argued, revealed a vindictive and authoritarian mindset, unbecoming of the director of the FBI. Durbin emphasized that such behavior was not only unprofessional but also potentially illegal, raising concerns about abuse of power and violations of due process. The senator suggested that Patel's actions were reminiscent of authoritarian regimes, not the leader of a democratic law enforcement agency. The senator presented alarming statistics, revealing a massive purge within the FBI since January 20th of the Trump administration. These statistics painted a grim picture of an organization in turmoil, with experienced personnel being systematically removed from their positions. Durbin highlighted the devastating impact of these purges on the FBI's institutional knowledge and operational effectiveness. The senator argued that the loss of experienced agents and officials weakened the Bureau's ability to protect the nation from threats both foreign and domestic. Durbin claimed that Patel orchestrated the removal of 6 career executives managing the FBI's branches, along with numerous field office chiefs and high-ranking officials. He further alleged that agents involved in investigations unfavorable to the president were specifically targeted for removal. The senator emphasized that these actions were not random or coincidental. They were part of a deliberate strategy to purge the FBI of individuals deemed disloyal to the president. Durbin argued that such political interference undermined the independence of the FBI and compromised its ability to conduct impartial investigations. Durbin cited a lawsuit from former FBI Deputy Director Brian Driscoll, who claimed Patel explicitly stated that agents working on lawsuits against the president should be dismissed. This testimony, if proven true, would constitute a grave abuse of power and a violation of the principles of justice. Durbin emphasized the seriousness of these allegations, noting that they could potentially lead to criminal charges against Patel. The senator argued that such behavior was a direct assault on the rule of law and the integrity of the justice system. Durbin further accused Patel of appointing MAGA loyalists to key positions, citing the appointment of a conspiracy theorist, Dan Bonino, as deputy director, a position traditionally held by career FBI agents. This appointment, Durbin argued, demonstrated a clear intent to politicize the Bureau and transform it into a tool for advancing a partisan agenda. Durbin highlighted the lack of qualifications and experience of these political appointees, arguing that their presence undermined the professionalism and competence of the FBI. The senator suggested that Patel was prioritizing loyalty over expertise, to the detriment of the Bureau's mission. Durbin also alleged that Patel initiated loyalty tests, subjecting officials to polygraph exams with inappropriate questions about their personal opinions of him. These actions, Durbin argued, created a climate of fear and intimidation within the Bureau, stifling dissent and undermining morale. Durbin emphasized the chilling effect of such loyalty tests on the FBI's workforce, arguing that they discouraged agents from speaking out against wrongdoing or challenging the director's authority. The senator suggested that Patel was creating an environment of paranoia and distrust within the Bureau. Durbin pointed out the hypocrisy, noting that members of Patel's senior management team received exemptions from failing their own polygraph exams, a courtesy not extended to the 5,000 career officers removed from the FBI. This double standard, Durbin argued, revealed a sense of entitlement and a disregard for the rules that applied to everyone else. Durbin highlighted the unfairness and injustice of this double standard, arguing that it undermined the morale and trust of the FBI's rank-and-file agents. The senator suggested that Patel was creating a system of favoritism and cronyism within the Bureau. The senator detailed the catastrophic brain drain resulting from these actions, particularly in cybersecurity, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence. He stated that the FBI's cyber division faced a 50% reduction in staffing, despite growing cyber threats from foreign adversaries. Durbin emphasized the devastating impact of this brain drain on the FBI's ability to protect the nation from emerging threats. The senator argued that Patel's policies were weakening the Bureau at a time when it needed to be stronger than ever. He also criticized the redirection of FBI resources to mass deportation operations, diverting 45% of agents from their primary duties. This diversion of resources, Durbin argued, undermined the Bureau's ability to address other critical threats to national security. Durbin highlighted the misallocation of resources, arguing that it was a waste of taxpayer money and a distraction from the FBI's core mission. The senator suggested that Patel was prioritizing political agendas over the Bureau's primary responsibility of protecting the nation. Durbin expressed concern over Patel's plan to lower hiring standards by eliminating the university diploma requirement and reducing new agent training at Quantico from 18 weeks to 8 weeks. He argued that these measures, combined with the removal of experienced personnel, jeopardized the FBI's ability to protect America. Durbin emphasized the importance of maintaining high standards for FBI agents, arguing that they needed to be well-educated, highly trained, and thoroughly vetted. The senator suggested that Patel's policies were lowering the bar for entry into the FBI, potentially compromising the quality and effectiveness of the Bureau's workforce. In a particularly shocking revelation, Durbin exposed Patel's handling of the Epstein files. He stated that Patel diverted over 1,000 FBI personnel to examine 100,000 pages of Epstein's records, with instructions to flag any mention of President Trump's name. Durbin highlighted the political motivations behind this investigation, arguing that it was a blatant attempt to use the FBI for political purposes. The senator suggested that Patel was more interested in protecting the president than in bringing justice to Epstein's victims. The review concluded with an unsigned memorandum stating there was no customer list showing complicity. Durbin criticized this as a politically motivated cover-up, questioning why the FBI was prioritizing the search for the president's name over bringing justice to Epstein's victims. Durbin emphasized the lack of transparency and accountability in this investigation, arguing that it raised serious concerns about the integrity of the FBI's work. The senator suggested that Patel was attempting to bury the truth and protect powerful individuals from facing justice. Durbin also recounted the Charlie Kirk assassination attempt, accusing Patel of spreading misinformation and violating law enforcement protocols. He noted the forced resignation of the Salt Lake City field office head, a counterterrorism expert who was leading the investigation. Durbin highlighted the potential political interference in this investigation, arguing that it raised concerns about the FBI's ability to conduct impartial investigations. The senator suggested that Patel was more interested in protecting political allies than in pursuing justice. In his closing remarks, Durbin emphasized the need for an FBI director with the ability and character to restore the Bureau's integrity. He appealed for unity and de-escalation of political tensions, reminding everyone that political opponents are not enemies. Durbin emphasized the importance of restoring trust in the FBI and ensuring that it remained an independent and impartial law enforcement agency. The senator urged his colleagues to put aside partisan differences and work together to protect the integrity of the Bureau. Durbin's presentation painted a picture of an FBI in crisis, weakened by political agendas, purges of experienced personnel, and lowered standards. He presented compelling evidence of politicization, mismanagement, and a potential cover-up, leaving Director Patel's future in doubt. The senator's revelations raised serious questions about the leadership and direction of the FBI, leaving many to wonder whether the Bureau could recover from the damage inflicted under Patel's tenure. The future of the FBI and the fate of Director Patel hung in the balance. The senator's revelations have ignited a firestorm of controversy, raising serious questions about the integrity and direction of the FBI under its current leadership. The future of the Bureau and the fate of Director Patel hang in the balance. The accusations leveled by Durbin were not easily dismissed, and the weight of the evidence presented demanded a thorough and impartial investigation. The American public deserved to know whether their premier law enforcement agency had been compromised by political agendas and mismanagement. The numbers presented by Senator Durbin told a compelling story, one of an organization in decline, weakened by political interference and mismanagement. These figures served as a stark indictment of Director Patel's leadership, raising serious questions about his ability to lead the FBI effectively. The statistics on staff reductions, resource diversions, and lowered hiring standards painted a grim picture of an organization struggling to maintain its effectiveness in the face of growing threats. The numbers, Durbin argued, spoke for themselves. Durbin's presentation suggested that Patel's actions were not merely isolated incidents, but rather part of a larger pattern of undermining the FBI's mission and eroding its reputation. The senator's revelations painted a picture of an organization in disarray, struggling to fulfill its vital role in protecting American citizens. The cumulative effect of Patel's policies, Durbin argued, had been to weaken the FBI and compromise its ability to safeguard the nation. The senator suggested that Patel's legacy would be one of destruction and decline. Despite the silence and the potential cover-ups, Durbin's presentation offered a glimmer of hope that the truth would eventually come to light. His unwavering commitment to uncovering the facts and holding those responsible accountable served as a beacon of integrity in a sea of political turmoil. Durbin's dedication to the truth and his willingness to challenge those in power inspired hope that justice would ultimately prevail. The senator's actions served as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the pursuit of truth and accountability remained essential to preserving the integrity of American democracy.